Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This Monday lunchtime, Jose Mourinho is back in fashion. And how has he done it? Because I know there's still a lot of people out there who are undecided. Look, don't feel guilty is what I would say straight away. Don't feel guilty. Some people are backing Mourinho. Some people are backing the club. Some people are unsure. The reality is you don't need to feel guilty. I firmly believe that anybody who's Jose Mourinho out can be brought back. I can, and I'm going to talk about that why in a moment. But don't feel guilty if you're still uncertain, because Jose knows himself. Over the last 9 months, his negativity, Sevilla, some of the things he's said, some of the teams he's picked, some of the formations, some of the ignorance towards United has caused this himself. But anybody deserves a second chance. And yes, it was only Burnley, and I did get to watch the game last night, and Burnley were awful. I think most teams will beat Burnley at the moment. But it's not really about that. There's a really big headline that, look, it doesn't matter what you think, change is happening at Manchester United. And I firmly believe that the Carrick McKenna training setup that's taken over from Rui Faria is starting to bed in. It was always going to take time. We had players coming back late from the World Cup, new formations, new tactics, new approach, but it's there. What can't speak can't lie. 8 chances created against Brighton, 8 chances against Leicester, 9 chances against Brighton, and then a massive jump. 23 chances created against Spurs, 21 chances created against Burnley. So even the people who want to say, well, it was only Burnley, we still created 23 chances against Spurs. From 8 and 9 against Brighton and Leicester to into the 20s. This is one of the big things that we spoke about in the summer, that Manchester United don't create enough chances. And suddenly in the last 2 games, we've created over 20 chances in them games. That's the sort of thing that seems like Spurs, City and Liverpool are doing. That is a massive, that's not a coincidence that in the last couple of games we've played well and created over 20 chances. That is a change in mentality. That is a change in approach. And maybe, look, if you were unhappy with losing to Brighton and Spurs, well, welcome to the club. Everybody had every right to be moaning about losing 2 games in the first 3 when it is season 3. But as I said, I think second chances are important. And I think that we can't just be saying, well, we ground out a result against Burnley. We definitely distinctively made changes in the way that we approach the game. We are pressing the ball. We are moving a lot quicker. That's not how Mourinho's done it for the last 2 years. I totally agree with that. This is different. This is even different to 4-0 FC at the start of last season. This is totally new. I wonder why it is new. I think Mourinho finally gets it, but he's surrounded himself with coaches who totally get it. A player that's been, I would say, a legend for over the last 10 years in Michael Carrick, and here he is coming around, and McKenna, who understands the youth setup and plays an attacking style of football. It is starting to bed in. Well, look, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to say that this is going to work under Mourinho. I still would say my personal stance at the moment is that I still think that there is going to be problems ahead, and I still think that maybe Mourinho won't get us to where he needs to get us. But I think top 4 is achievable. Now I've got the tactics board to my left because I want to go through some of that in a moment. But I just want to say as well, Sadio Mane has been named PFA Player of the Month. I think the world is sleeping on Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw deserves PFA Player of the Month. Now, I understand why Liverpool players got it, because they're top of the league, but that's ignorance, that's sensationalism, that's just going for the highest common denominator. The reality is, yes, United lost a couple of games, yes, United are mid-table, yes, United actually haven't had a great start to the season, but that should never make you ignorant to the fact that there might be a player in that team who has been sensational. And I can't think of a player that deserves it more than Luke Shaw. In the wilderness, apparently going to be sold. Let's get a new left back. England take Ashley Young and Danny Rose to the World Cup. Within a space of a few weeks, he's the best left back in England. He's in the England squad. He's the best left back in the country. And for any Man City fan who wants to say Mendy, or Liverpool fan who wants to say Robertson, that's fine. That's your prerogative. Of course it is. But I'm telling you now, Luke Shaw's the best left back in the country at the moment. He is absolutely brilliant. The way he's getting forward, his delivery, his tackling, his positional sense, his mentality, everything is A-star. And for me, he deserved Player of the Month this year. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure Sadio Mane has been very good. And I haven't got a problem with that, him getting it. But I just want to say that Luke Shaw, for me, has absolutely been the player that many of us wanted him to be for a long time. Now, there is a quote floating around. I can't get to the bottom of this, and I normally can. La Repubblica, who apparently is... Mourinho spoke to a couple of Italian journalists apparently last night. Gazzetta dello Sport, La Repubblica. But Goal, The Mail, loads of people are quoting this that Mourinho said. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but it is out there a lot. And it's a bit of a divisive comment. He says, If they dismiss me, do you have any idea how much they should give me? They say I'm in danger, but I don't think so. Now, if that is true for Mourinho, that's basically saying that they're not going to sack me because it would cost them too much to do it. Now, what's your interpretation of that? Mine is brilliant. What a quote from Jose Mourinho, because it's like it's sort of a challenge to the board. Look, sack me if you want, but if you're going to do it, it's going to cost me a lot of money. And I think Mourinho is in a strong position at the moment, and I like that swagger and confidence. I don't know whether that's true, but it is being quoted a lot, and maybe it is true. Maybe he was saying it tongue-in-cheek. But if he has said it, so what? I want to just get to that a minute before I talk about the tactics. In relation to Jose Mourinho, the title of the video is Mourinho Finally Gets It. I want to give a big shout out to the away support. The away support are the lifeblood of Manchester United. Now, I'm never gonna go down that route of saying the away support's they're the real fans, they're the proper fans. But they do definitely deserve a lot of credit because they do follow the club around the world passionately, loyally. And I said something yesterday that got twisted. I said, look, it's no surprise to me that Jose Mourinho is being chanted by the away fans and they back him. It doesn't necessarily mean a lot because they were doing it for Moyes and Van Gaal right to the end. What it means is that these fans back the club and they'll back the manager of the club, which is what I was saying last week. Whatever I think is going to happen with Mourinho, he's the current manager of the club. I want to back the manager. I want to believe. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but I want to believe. But these fans, this is an event for them. Every match is an event. You know, some people are coming in from Ireland, abroad, Manchester, London, wherever. They travel, they go to the game, they have a good time. They've got a real collectivism and passion. And they're not going to go there. You don't buy into something and then go there and be miserable and start chanting Mourinho out, because that's a negative vibe. It's positivity, it's chanting, it's loving the club. That's what the away support's all about. And Mourinho has finally, with the home support and the away support, and I think the wider support, he finally gets it. How many times have you lot said on the show, Mourinho can win this war at Manchester United by getting the fans on side? Or, you know, Mourinho is obviously well read. He quotes great philosophers. He did it on his press conference on Friday. Just read some books on Sir Alex Ferguson or look through the recent history. It's there. Sir Alex Ferguson, if you've got to entertain the fans at Manchester United, constantly respecting and understanding Manchester United fans. Sir Alex Ferguson did it. It's not copying. It's not copying someone's style. It's just a really easy format to follow. If you get the fans on side at Manchester United, you will win. Win the crowd and you'll win your freedom. Gladiator quote, but it's very, very true. And I think Jose Mourinho finally gets it. I think Jose Mourinho has always been an island. He's always been an island. He keeps himself to himself. Herrera said it last season. It's unbelievable. He can take any criticism and he's fine. He can deal with it. And Mourinho, if you look at him at Chelsea, at Real Madrid, at Inter Milan, yes, there was engagement a little bit, but ultimately, I'm Jose Mourinho, I'm an island. I don't think a manager as an island works at Manchester United. And I think over the summer, we were coming to a tipping point. It was gonna end badly because he was still an island and United fans were getting irritated. We lose those first two games. I think Mourinho's clicked. I might not be comfortable with this, but I've got to... I mean, he's still saying, yeah, I've got a good relationship with the fans, but I'm not really bothered. It's about the players. But then he's going up to the fans. He's chucking his coat off. I mean, what's next? Pants, socks? We'll take them all, Jose. But what we want is the passion. I can't criticise a manager who is going to the away support like that and engaging with them, and they certainly won't. I can't criticise a manager who engages with fans after the game. And yes, I thought there was an element of pantomime to it, but so what? So what? I think the more he does it, the more he becomes comfortable with it. He said himself he's not comfortable with it. It's not really what he does. But if you think about Jose Mourinho, manager of Chelsea, 3 times Premier League winner as he tells us, Real Madrid, titles, Porto, titles, Inter, titles, Manchester United, titles, question mark. If Jose Mourinho can win titles as an island, imagine what he can do with a whole fan base passionately behind him. This is the Mourinho I wanted at Manchester United. This is the Mourinho I got excited about when he came to Manchester United. And we've never had it. And he lives in a hotel, whatever. Has his passion and love for football gone because of what happened at Chelsea? I've always suspected that. But over the last couple of games, and you know, it's a tiny step, you're starting to see that fight back in Mourinho. He's fed up with the press. He's engaging with the fans. And he's understanding finally that Manchester United was never about just delivering a title. You've got to do it in a certain way. And as I said at the start, 23 shots against Spurs, 21 shots against Burnley. That is more than double the shots we normally have in a game of football. That's not fluke or coincidence. Well, it could be. Let's see what happens against Watford and Wolves. But I look forward to those games with real excitement now. And the big thing is, don't feel guilty about what you think about Mourinho. I know top Reds go into away games, home games, who actually don't think Mourinho's right for Manchester United. But they'll support him and they'll support Manchester United because that's what's most important. So you can have your reservations. Don't feel guilty about it because he has brought it on himself. But people can change. A lot of people on the live comments have been saying for months and months, Mourinho's never going to change. He is. He is. I couldn't get the words out there, but he is. Only slightly, maybe, but he is. Because Manchester United under Mourinho don't do what he's done in the last couple of games. Exciting, fast, creating chances. There's still loads of problems. And I think the exciting thing about this international break is that when we come back from it, it doesn't really help us, the international break, to be honest. They never do. Because you can talk about, oh, we get a bit of training done. But most of our good players are away now. They could get fatigue. They could get injured. You know, Lukaku, Fellaini, Pogba, all the English lads. They're all Sanchez, Fred. You know, they're all away. So that, and coming back from an international break with an away game against Watford. But I can't wait. Watford are top of the league. Wolves are one of the most exciting teams to come out of the Championship in years. That's our next 2 games. I can't wait. Now, if we lose one of those games, everyone's going to jump back and say that's not acceptable. And maybe it won't be, because Wolves and Watford, we should be beating them. But if we win those 2 games, then we've got West Ham, 9 points from the next 3, 6 points off the top we are at the moment. Now, in the context of the Premier League at the moment, that looks like a lot. I tell you what, if we were 6 points off Liverpool and Chelsea in April, you'd take that. You can pull 6 points around in April and win the title. So August, 6 points off the title. It looks bad because it's, you know, double our points. But if we can maintain that and start building some momentum, anything is possible. And that's all I want to say about that. Mourinho is changing. Mourinho definitely is changing himself and understanding what Manchester United's all about. And I'm grateful for that, because all we wanted was some positivity. Nobody wants to be sat here going, this isn't acceptable, get rid of Jose Mourinho, this is crap. Nobody wanted that. And I don't feel guilty, because I've always backed Mourinho up until we lost to Spurs and Brighton. And I was like, nothing's changing. He's changing the team every week. The football's still crap. He's treating players badly still. Nothing's, you know, we're not creating enough chances. The start of the season was my last chance for Mourinho. But what's happened is, after yesterday, I can sort of, it's almost like our season starts now. It's not been a great start, but I'm willing to say our season starts now. Let's see what happens from now. We're not in a great position, but we're not in an awful situation. The season starts now, and I'm willing to just go back to where I was at the start of the season, back to where I've been for the last 2 years, and give him that opportunity. Whether it's going to work out or not, I don't know. But I think there is a positivity, there is a siege mentality around United, and that's what I've grown up with. That's what I want to see. So very, very happy with it. But you know, also very difficult as well. And let's not forget, we have got the Skype show tonight at 8 o'clock. If you disagree with me, you agree with me, whatever, you can call in and have your say. So look, I'm not saying what I'm saying is right. I know there's still a lot of people that are very unhappy, and that doesn't make you any less. Right, let's look at the result yesterday against Burnley, because I don't want to go through tactics of Burnley, blah, blah, blah. I want to just go through a few heat maps, because there are some quite interesting things from that. So Marouane Fellaini, basically, his heat map, let me just have a look at this. So Marouane Fellaini, his heat map yesterday was pretty much here. We knew he was back dropping into the back 3, but he was effectively a CDM. Matic's average position was around here, as the sort of left-sided centre-back. And Pogba spent a lot of time here. So defensively, that's how we set up, with a triangle. Pogba on that right-hand side, which is what he did against France. However, as we all know, offensively, we did a lot of damage against Burnley yesterday. They didn't really cause us a lot of problems defensively. Offensively, Pogba's biggest heat map area, again, was here. This was Pogba's biggest heat map area. And Alexis Sanchez's was here. So yet again, you've got that Pogba-Sanchez problem, which I think is a problem from last season, that yesterday we somehow managed to cope with it. But also, I think Pogba had a mixed game, didn't he? Pogba in the first half, a lot of people were saying, where's Paul Pogba? Second half, he came more into it. What happened quite early on in the second half, Sanchez went off. So maybe that was Pogba's problem offensively yesterday, which is, it's human nature. You're not going to notice a lot of the defensive work that Paul Pogba does, because when you think about Pogba, you think about attack. In the first half, Pogba didn't do a lot, but that's because him and Sanchez are getting in the same areas again. Sanchez goes off, Pogba comes more into the game. So that's still a problem that we need to look at. I think we solved that problem by putting Pogba here. I think put Pogba on the right-hand side, let him go into these areas. That's how I think we solved the Pogba problem. I don't know how we solved the yellow pen problem here. That's how we solved the Paul Pogba problem. Let him go into that area. Let Sanchez go into that area. Now, I know people will say, well, what about Jesse Lingard if you've got Pogba in that area? But this is getting on my nerves. There we go. But if you've got Pogba in that area there, Lingard's heat map yesterday was here, here, and it was colder than a radiator in the summer. But Lingard doesn't do a lot on the heat maps. He never does. Lingard's all about running off the ball. Lingard's class is what he does off the ball. He stretches, he moves, he sprints, he moves the defence, and he creates spaces. So I don't think Pogba moving forward into this position impacts on Lingard if Lingard's playing there. It doesn't, and it certainly solves the Pogba-Sanchez problem. So that's something I picked up on the tactics yesterday. Sanchez and Pogba still a little bit of a problem, still getting into each other's areas. But Sanchez was much improved yesterday. I want to talk about Sanchez. I mean, he set up the first goal. He was a lot better. Rashford obviously came on for Sanchez. I don't think there's anything to talk about. I know in the instant reaction yesterday there was a little bit of a chat about it. He deserved the red card. That gets a red card these days. He's come out and apologised for it. There's not going to be any repercussions from that. I think United fans love Rashford. Local lad, come through the youth setup. He got sent off because he was a little bit too into it. Welcome to the club. Again, we want players like that. But Fellaini got sent off against Man City for doing a similar thing. Mourinho still loves Fellaini. He'll still love Rashford. The 3-match ban isn't ideal. The Phil6688 says, not buying into this Jose changing crap. Well, look, it's up to you, Phil. But at the end of the day, you can't come back at me with why we've suddenly turned into a team that's moving the ball fast in the final third and creating more than double the chances. There is a change in the last couple of games. Whether that will last or... when the team news came... I've got to pull myself up on this. When the team news came in yesterday, we were live... And we were like, oh my life, Mourinho's mugging us off. All those fans that clapped at Spurs about the 3-5-2 and liked that style of football in the first half, Mourinho's mugged them off. He's looked at them in the eye, he's clapped them, he's nodded his head, he's gone yes. And then the next game he's gone to 4-3-3 with Fellaini and Matic in the midfield. It's going to be static, it's going to be slow, it's going to be defensive. And it wasn't. We still moved the ball really quickly in that final third. We created loads of chances. There has been a change. Whether this change is going to be good enough, whether the, let's be honest, whether some of the players still do have a problem or not, we don't know. But one of the quotes I really loved about Jose, actually, and I must read this out because I don't know whether everybody heard this, but this is certainly worth reading out if I find it for you. Here we go. To leave Pereira and Darmian at home, to leave Mata and McTominay in the stands, and also to leave on the bench with not 1 minute on the pitch, Martial, Young and the goalkeeper. It was really heartbreaking because the week was fantastic and every player was part of this game. Jose Mourinho doesn't do things like that. He doesn't do things like that. So there is a change. There's a change in his mentality. There's a change in what United are doing. And there's a change in the way that we're playing. And you can buy into that. You can be sceptical of it. Or you can disagree and not believe it. But I choose to be positive. I've always backed Mourinho. Up until the last couple of weeks where I just got very frustrated that another season was going down the pan without a title challenge. But... has he continued with what the frustration was against Brighton and Spurs? Well, to be fair, we lost to Spurs because of bad defensive errors. Brought on by Jose through playing Phil Jones. Phil Jones didn't play yesterday. Lindelof played yesterday. We kept a clean sheet yesterday. I feel that there is a change. I just don't know how big it's going to be. But I certainly am willing to give it another shot. And I like the fact that, the Manchester United away fans represent Manchester United at away games, and they are not us, because we are different as fans. If you're not there, you are a different entity and you've got your own opinion. But I do feed off that positivity. I do feed off Mourinho engaging with those fans, and I do feed off what the players do on the pitch. And I think ultimately, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. And as a Manchester United fan, what do I want? I want Manchester United to win. I want Manchester United to entertain. I want Manchester United to score goals, and I want Manchester United to be successful. They won. They entertained, they scored goals, they were creative. The successful one is going to be the decider, isn't it? We've got to go on a run of games, winning games. Watford, Wolves, West Ham, and then I think it's Chelsea. I think 12 points is what we've got to go and get. We might not get that. We might end up with 8 points and say that's not too bad. We might end up with 3 points and say, look, this manager's got to go. I don't know what the future holds, but I think we've got to cling on to that positivity. And I would argue with anybody that there is definitely a change in Manchester United in the last 2 games. We are pressing teams. We are moving the ball quickly. And the legacy of Mourinho's first 2 years, you know it, I know it, has always been we don't create many chances. We don't move the ball from back to front enough. And our front three normally get a lot of criticism, but actually they're living on scraps. They're being starved of oxygen. So those things have changed. We criticised Lukaku against Spurs because he didn't score the chances. We haven't been doing that. For 2 years, we've gone, yeah, Lukaku's build-ups play is not great, but he does score a lot of goals with very limited service. Last season, Harry Kane was averaging around 5 shots a game. Lukaku was around 2.5. Lukaku, we criticised last week because of the chances he missed. I think he had about 5 chances in the game. That's actually that's a positive. Because, yeah, let's get on Lukaku's back if he's not scoring the goals, but we haven't had the opportunity to do that because he hasn't been getting the chances. And that becomes a new problem. So I definitely think there is a change in the next 2 games. It's about how long those changes continue. Please do drop a like on the video if you're watching live. Top Geese has made a contribution. He says, if Martial can embrace the attitude Luke Shaw has and is given the chance by Mourinho, we could have the best left-hand side in the league. Good to see Mourinho being positive again and showing his passion. I just want Martial to sign that new contract. If Martial signs the new contract, Mourinho, I don't agree. I mean, Mourinho also said about the banner for Woodward, this 2-0 win is an Ed Woodward win. I think we are falling into traps around the press. I think Mourinho and Woodward don't have a problem. I spoke about this yesterday before the game. The rumours out of the club is that they're actually very close. This is why on Friday night I was like, if we lose to Burnley, I don't see how Mourinho survives. I got told something on Saturday morning, and that's why when I did the video on Saturday, I was like, if we lose to Burnley, Mourinho's still here. If there's any United fan out there hoping we lose to Burnley to get rid of Mourinho, he's not going, because that's the vibe out of the club at the moment. They will back him, and we should. You know, I haven't got a problem with that, but that's why we needed to beat Burnley yesterday, regardless of what your agendas or personal thoughts are. I think Woodward and Mourinho have a good relationship. I just think Mourinho wanted a little bit more support in the summer, and maybe we'll see that in January or next summer. Who knows what's going to happen? But this season's always going to be a season where we're going to have to take it game by game. Watford are top of the league. You know, if they beat us 2 or 3-0, that's unacceptable. Everybody knows that. But I don't know. It's 2 weeks away. You can pick up injuries, this, that and the other. But I think the way United are playing at the moment, I think we'll beat Watford. And I think that could be a real turning point, because then you've got a home game against Wolves, who are a good team, but we're at home. First time at home in the league for a while. Confidence from beating Watford. We'll beat a good Wolves team. And suddenly we've beaten 2 good teams. We've taken 6 points. We can only be 6 points off the title if we keep taking maximum points. Maybe we're a little bit closer. Away to West Ham. They're crap, 3 points. Maybe we've closed the gap a little bit more. Then we're playing Chelsea, beat them. We're going to close the gap on them. And suddenly you're like, whoa, we've turned that around. All right, 2 losses at the start, but we're playing well. I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, but that's the sort of mentality that I want to get into at the moment. And I hope it can happen. I really do hope it can happen. But you're going to get different opinions. You've got Flex and Rants doing their show tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Rants is against Mourinho. He has been for a long time. Is he going to turn? Is he going to see anything? I don't know. I do respect everybody's opinion. According to the Express, De Gea has asked for £350,000 a week, said Jamie. Well, he's well worth it. He's well worth it. We need better forwards, says Soladius. Well, I mean, we play with one up front, and Lukaku is good. Jalu Rasak says, I love the United stand. Thanks, pal. We love having you all here. Please do get involved. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Just going to shout out again that we have got the Skype show tonight at 8 o'clock. So if you disagree, agree, or there's something that's really you want to say, get Skyping in tonight and have your say. Absolute Focus says, go away all plastic fans, not needed. I'm going to jump on you there. Look, I have to be even-handed. I don't like the plastic fans thing. What defines a plastic fan? Is it because you're not from England? Is it because you don't back Mourinho? Is it because you've criticised the player? I don't agree with that. I think everybody has the right to support Manchester United. I think everybody has the right to an opinion. Of course, you could say something ridiculous, but it doesn't mean you don't believe it. So I don't like the situation. Funnily enough, I was speaking to somebody this morning, and the I don't know whether everybody watched it, but the fan calling after the game yesterday was probably one of the hardest shows I've ever done. I remember this from the Van Gaal days, and I don't want to see it happening again. And we were sort of nearly there last night, where you got some people really happy, pro Jose, some people, I don't want Jose at the club, and then you end up with this toxicity and this clashing, which is never nice in a fan base, and I don't want to see that, which is why the positivity is a nice thing to have at the moment. It doesn't mean that those people... Look, no, I think a lot of people aren't going to flip-flop, are they? They're not going to go, I'm Mourinho out, I want him sacked, and then go, oh, I'm now Mourinho in because we beat Burnley. You'd be foolish to do that because Burnley were really bad. But you could, if you choose to, look at the difference in Manchester United, especially those chances created, especially the excitement and the speed in the final third, and go, you know what? If this is sustained over Watford, Wolves, West Ham, and we do take maximum points, I might start to believe in this manager again. I think that's all anybody's asking, really, is look, is there something in you that can come back from that? Because there is a lot of ill feeling towards Jose, and he, like I say, he's earned that himself. But I don't believe that I think nobody. I don't think there is a Jose Mourinho outer out there that can't be turned back. I don't, because I think ultimately all Manchester United fans just want to see Manchester United winning, playing well, entertaining, and playing with a bit of passion. And we've seen that. We've seen that in the last two games. You know, Spurs was just bad defending. It was brought on by the selections that Jose made, but it was bad defending and bad finishing. We should have another 4 points, really. You could almost just say if Romelu Lukaku could finish, we'd have another 4 points, because I think we'd have beaten Spurs, and he had a great chance at 0-0 against Brighton, and I think we'd have taken at least a point there. Another 4 points puts us level with City, 2 points off the top. So yeah, we are where we deserve to be, but it is fine margins. Can we talk about Luke Shaw? Christopher White, you're a little bit late. Luke Shaw's just been absolutely immense. Absolutely immense. Can be world class. I've heard things like that. He's certainly top class at the moment. I'm not shocked by Luke Shaw. If you've been watching the United Stand, listening to the people in the live comments, we've spoken about Luke Shaw a lot over the last 2 years, really, since he's returned from the injury. And for anybody who knew Luke Shaw before he came to United, he was one of the best left-backs, young left-backs in Europe. Bad injury. Some people think bad attitude, weight issues. I think they're all unfair and they're myths, really. But I've always known that Luke Shaw can play like he's playing now, and I think a lot of people have. I just don't know whether a lot of people thought he could do that. I said sell Luke Shaw in the summer because I never thought Jose Mourinho would drop Ashley Young for Luke Shaw. And that was based on hard evidence. Back in January, Ashley Young had a red card. Shaw came in and played really well. Press conference, Mourinho says Luke Shaw's one of the best left-backs in Europe. Drops him for Young. And you go, he's always going to pick Ashley Young ahead of Luke Shaw. And that's what I thought he would do again. And he hasn't. And again, I've got to say, Jose Mourinho deserves a lot of praise for that. Because he's done something I never thought he would do. That's why I wanted us to sign Alexandre, because you don't sign a left-back and then pick Young. And I didn't want Young at left-back. But what Mourinho's done is he's not got his left-back that he wanted, but he actually has got rid of Young and brought Shaw in. And we've now got, for whatever you think about Shaw or Young, we've got a left-footed left-back. And suddenly we look a really good team down the left-hand side. And we've been talking about it for a long time. If you've got a left-footed left-back who can go up and down naturally and can defend with his face to goal and show them down there laterally, it makes a hell of a difference from a left-back who's right-footed, who's got to keep coming back and doing that, and will show them inside into danger. It's great for United. But on Luke Shaw himself, he's just fulfilling the talent that a lot of people have always felt that he's had, and it's been fantastic. And he deserves the credit, but so does Jose as well. I don't know whether I'm going to do FIFA today, to be honest. I might do it at about 3 o'clock, Man United. I'll see how I go. Shaw is like a new signing, says Jim Bob. Yeah, definitely. Lukaku's not clinical, says Darth Vader. Well, he was clinical yesterday. He scored his first chance. I think Lukaku, I can forgive Lukaku. I can forgive Lukaku for only scoring 2 out of 5. Because I don't think he's ever going to be clinical, like you say. What he's got to focus on is scoring the first chance. I don't mind if he misses the second and third chance and then scores the fourth one. He's got to focus on taking the first chance. Put the ball in the back of the net with the first chance, because that changes the whole rhythm of the game. And if you think about that Brighton game, that first big chance that he missed, puts that in, 1-0, changes the game. Us not scoring invites Brighton on, and we're always playing catch up. So I don't think Lukaku's ever going to be like clinical 2 chances, 2 goals. He's just got to focus on scoring that first goal, and it makes a hell of a lot of difference. A Sanchez Martial front 2 would be great, says Sabatashi. I'll be pissed off if Martial transfers and starts shining at a different club, says Sam Brown. Well, Martial's here till January, isn't he? And I think with Rashford out, he'll definitely get opportunities. Maybe not against Watford, but we've got Watford, RSCYB in the Champions League on the Wednesday or the Tuesday. Then we've got Wolves. Then we've got Derby. So I think Rashford's got a 3-match ban, so he will miss Watford, West Ham and Derby. So you'd expect Martial to at least start against Derby and maybe get a few minutes against the other ones, because he's obviously going to come on for Lukaku or Sanchez. So that's what Martial's got to aim for. Champions League's going to take care of itself, Boz Z. I mean, I've said this so many times. A lot of people, even Mourinho himself, talking about Juventus and how good they are. Very quickly, he did speak about Ronaldo. I saw a totally fake story that he turned him down. What he actually said was, Ronaldo was never on the table for me to say yes or no. So Mourinho didn't say no to Ronaldo. He was never on the table for him. What that means is the club were never in for him. Now, they wouldn't get him a centre-back, so they're not going to be going in for Ronaldo, are they? So Mourinho's nothing to do with him in relation to Ronaldo. Hemorrhage Bat says, shout out to Mark, you were the one constantly saying Jose will change. You know what? I'm going to, even myself, I'm going to say that's not right, because if you'd said this, if this was a week and a half ago, I would have totally deserved that comment. But after Spurs and Brighton, I did say he's never going to change. And I did say I'll back him while he's the manager, but this isn't going to work out. And that might still be the right statement. But what I am happy to do is to jump back where I was for the last 2 years, where I was 2 weeks ago, and say, look, the sprouts have changed there. The shoots have changed. Sprouts, it's not bloody Christmas. The shoots have changed there. Let's see what they grow into. But I want Mourinho to succeed. I've always said I like Jose Mourinho. I just don't think that he was ever going to... I don't think... The way it was going, it looked like he just wasn't the right fit for Manchester United. And maybe he won't be. But you can't argue, whether you're the most adamant Jose outer, you can't argue. Andrew Ellis, if he's in the live comments. You can't argue with the fact that he is engaging with the fans like he's never done before. He is being more positive about his whole squad like he's never been before. He didn't need to mention Pereira and Martial yesterday. They weren't involved, but he did. He's never really had a team that's attacked like it has in the last couple of games and created the amount of chances it has in the last couple of games. Mourinho's biggest positive from yesterday will be the clean sheet, by the way. That's what rocks Mourinho's world. For us, it'll be what we did on the attack. If we get that perfect synergy, then things could be great. I just, as I said before, I just think my mindset at the moment is, let's see what happens. Let's pretend this is the start of a new season. Let's see if this positivity and mindset of Mourinho continues on the pitch, off the pitch, with the fans. And if it does, we might be starting a new chapter that could be amazing at Manchester United. But what we've seen in the first half against Spurs and for most of the game yesterday against Burnley, that needs to be the consistent thing now. We can't go to Anfield and park the bus. We can't go to Stamford Bridge and park the bus. That's not acceptable anymore. You've got to do what he's been doing over the last week. Let's see if he does it. I read a great comment today, and I'm going to quote it. The truth of the matter is, everybody will be willing to give Mourinho a chance. The ball is in his court. And it is. It's for him to do it now. We're there waiting to give him that chance. Let's see what he does with it. Will he go back to being an island, or will he embrace what Manchester United's all about? That's going to be the interesting and exciting thing. So, international breaks are a pain in the backside. I can't stand them, but yeah, there we go. Please do drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get up to 500 while we're live. Remember 8 o'clock tonight to call in and have your say. And if you're not watching live, or you are watching live, get your comments in below. I really want to see... I wish I'd said this earlier, actually. I really want to see what you're thinking at the moment. What are you thinking about the situation now? Where were you before Burnley? Where are you now? The comment section below is for that. Even if you're watching live, you can go to the comments now. It does let you leave a comment. It didn't used to. So you can go from the live comments down to the comments below the video and leave your comment there, and then it becomes a bit of a forum. What are you feeling now? Have you changed where you were? Is there hope? That's what I want to know. I just want to know where you are, because you're United fans and everyone's going to be different. So I'm really interested to read some of those comments as to where people are now, and we'll cover some of them at 8 o'clock as well. Thanks everybody for watching. Please drop a like on your way out. Subscribe if you're new, and join us tonight at 8 o'clock, where it's your show. I love it. It's the favourite show of the week. Skype Goldbridge, where you get to Skype in and have your say on Manchester United, and all opinions are welcome. See you all soon.